All right, so today's lesson is really interesting. It's a topic that sounds really easy. I've mentioned already the problems that not only students but adults have in terms of science, evolution, natural selection. People actually think they know what they're talking about. And I've said it before, they do not understand the words that they think they understand for things like ecosystems, population, communities, species, etc., etc. And this is exceptionally problematic when it comes to GCSEs and Key Stage 3 and actually anything to do with ecosystems. And you see ecosystems in year 7 from food chains, and it's a major problem. So the first thing is, well, what is ecology? Ecology studies at how living things interact. And to be honest, that's kind of too vague for me. You know, they'll say, oh, interactions with an ecosystem. And in my head, I have this idea of what that means. What it means is who is eating whom, right? What is eating what? That's the interactions that we show. And you'll hear it in different words. It is the flow of energy. Yeah, I know where I get my energy from. That poor chicken that turned into a chicken burger. All right. Well, actually, I don't eat burgers, so there you go. But it just sounds funny. So the problem with this is you've got to understand what these words mean. So what is eating what, right? And it's how nature works. And also it leads on to how we impact the ecosystem and why the ecosystem is important. And we look at levels of organization. We spent a lesson on looking at what species are, all right? Now, that's in taxonomy, in Linnaean taxonomy, in naming. But what do I mean by a species? They're a group of individuals, a group of organisms, a group of living things that can breed together to produce babies that can also have babies. And you'll hear that in certain ways. So a species is a group of organisms that can interbreed, that means breed together, to produce fertile offspring. And there are some really good examples of where that's not the case. The liger being one of them. The liger is a cross between a lion and a tiger. And the problem with the liger is it is infertile. So as much as tigers and lions can have babies, their babies, this is a liger, are infertile. These guys cannot have babies. So they are not the same species. So a tiger and lion is not the same species, even though they can have babies. Now, what is a population? And you've got to be very precise. A population is the total number of individuals of one species. It's one species living in a particular area at a particular time. All right. And this is key. It isn't all the population, all the individuals of a species. It's like, what's the population of England? All the people who are living in England right now. Now, so if you count all the species of red squirrels, in one forest, the population is those red squirrels in that one forest at that time that you measured it. Okay, so this is population. It is one single species. A community consists of all the different populations, of all the different species, and how they live and interact together, right? So, for example, you can have squirrels, birds, oak trees, everything from plants to herbivores to carnivores, every single thing. And what I'm really talking about interacting is how they eat each other. All right. Now, that's what we call a community. An ecosystem is really interesting. Right. An ecosystem is all those living creatures and how they interact, and all the non-living things. Right. And there's two words I'm going to throw into here, and I'm going to put them on my sticky note. And one is biotic factors. Biotic factors. They are all the living things, biotic factors. Okay. So these are living things. So let's talk about biotic factors. All the things that are living. Right. Alive. Oh dear, I need to go there. Right. All the things that are alive. Oh, I still don't want that to go. I'm going to go downwards. All the things that are alive. And another word that I'm going to talk about, which is very, very related to that one, is abiotic factors. Abiotic. Abiotic means the exact opposite. It is non-living things, like a river. All right? And we will use those terms. I don't expect you to use them. You can say all the non-living and living things and how they interact. All right? So an ecosystem is the interaction of a community of living organisms with the non-living part of it, with the abiotic part of it. So the abiotic would be soil, water, wind, rain, and sunlight. Key concepts, key ideas. Interdependence. Now, it's how one organism depends on another. And I'm talking again, not like, you know what, I'm your friend, I am. You're in trouble, I'll help you. No. This means who's eating who. So if you've got goats, and the goats, they eat the plants, well, the plants, so the goats depend on the plants for food. They are dependent on the plants, right? You've got carnivores, they depend, like wolves will eat the goats. They are animals that depend, they are predators that depend on prey, right? So you also have, the lesser known things when it comes to interdependence. And it's like plants depend on bees to pollinate them, depend on us to spread their seeds. That's the reason why fruits exist. A stable community, right? So with all the species and all their interactions, is where everything is in balance. So the number of individuals in a particular population, in a particular species, stays about the same. It goes up and down, but it's fairly constant. All right, so here I've talked about abiotic and biotic factors. Abiotic factors are non-living, such as light intensity for photosynthesis, temperature, humidity, soil pH, wind direction. Biotic factors, right? New predators turn up, how much food is available, and new diseases. And I'm going to be very clear about this. You guys are going to sit there and think that's not too difficult. You're going to practice this. The biggest problem GCSE and A-level students have is the fact that we can pick any ecosystem. I can pick any ecosystem on the world. If I'm going to write an exam question, I can pick everything from something really easy, like the North Pole, the Arctic, the Sahara Desert. These are all done before. But I can pick a small part of a rainforest. I can pick the bottom of the ocean. I can pick anywhere I want. And the truth is, nobody can predict what environment, what ecosystem, and what factors an examiner is going to pick. And your problem is, and I'm talking about all students, you must not just be able to say, yeah, I think I know what population is. You must be able to recognize it from diagrams, from graphs, from charts, from pie charts and stuff. So here's a graphical representation. An individual is a single member of a species. You are one of them. A population, all that members of that one species in a given area at the same time. A community, all the different species in a given location at a given time. And the ecosystem is all the interactions between the communities, the non-living abiotic parts as well. Like here you've got the ocean, you've got the water, you've got the sand. These are all the abiotic factors and the temperature. As per usual, 10 easy, 10 medium, 10 hard questions. All right. Now let's stop